Welcome to another one-shot review brought to you by the students of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm Mikey, and joining me is Seamus, Storm, and Alex. And today we're going to be talking about the latest Disney Plus show in part of Phase 4, which is known as the character we don't give a shit about, Hawkeye, starring Jeremy Renner and Hailee Steinfeld. And thanks y'all for joining me, and we're just going to get right to this shit.
All right. I like how you were so serious until you said the name Hawkeye.
Yeah, no. I'm you see this face?
We don't care about Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I don't watch this show for Clint. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be honest.
I mean, I don't blame you. Kate Bishop in a suit.
Yeah, true. But yeah, so we'll just get right to it. We'll just start with our first impressions. So we want to give first impressions on what their thoughts on going into the show. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
You'll go first, Jim?
Yeah.
All right, you got it.
Kate Bishop. This is a Kate Bishop only show. We only are here for Kate Bishop and Pizza Dog. That's it. Maybe Echo. I'll throw Echo in there. That's all I'm here for. And as much as they keep trying to make me care about Clint's family, they've done this storyline where Clint retires and then has to come back in. Like this is like the fourth time already. I'm just waiting for him to just finally like either die or actually retire. So yeah, only here for Kate Bishop. That's it.
Word. All right. Who wants one? Anyone? No one?
Bueller.
Yeah. I agree with that idea that we've seen Clint. I do like how it's portrayed in this show. We actually get to see him spend time with his family for once instead of just hearing about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only thing he has, it seems, in the MCU. Is I want to retire. He keeps getting swept up in things, and then it whines about it, which is understandable, but he's still whining about it all the time. It just seems like it's the only thing he's got going for him as a plot, and seeing that again, I feel like this has to be the last time. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to feel really overdone the next time. So I agree with that part.
Gotcha. Storm?
Kate Bishop in a suit, that's all.
Okay.
You're right. Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so for me, I don't really like Hawkeye as a character. He's like pretty low tier. In the MCU, I think he's okay. I do agree with Alex though that like all he does is whine about how he wants to retire and just go back to his family. Which
like Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
How much he talks about that.
Yeah, it's very Vin Diesel. But yeah, going into this show, obviously we're gonna mention the Hawkeye run that this is based off of, because that run is incredible. But mostly at Kate Bishop, because I'm a huge Kate Bishop fan, because I love the Young Avengers. So having Hailee Steinfeld come in was helped, as well as the character of Echo as well being introduced. So I told myself, as long as it's like the Hawkeye run, which is like the only thing Clint Barton has, that's great. I'm chilling, and yeah. So that's basically what I thought of it, the show going into it. Anyone else? Anything else? Other else to say?
No.
Not really. Okay, yeah. Let's just move on to the Fraction one. So, if for people that don't know, this show is based off the Matt Fraction and David Aja run of Hawkeye, which is like came out 2012.
Yeah.
2012, and it's like one of the best. It's the best Hawkeye thing that he has, to be honest with you, and it's one of the probably one of the best comics I've ever read in terms of like storytelling and just like artwork. It's like really incredible. What else, James? What are your thoughts on the Hawkeye?
On Matt Fraction's Hawkeye?
Of course.
It's so good. It's like one of the best comics of the last 10 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just love how it's the relationship between Kate and Clint throughout the whole book, the whole run is just so good, and it's just so interesting to see how like Clint interacts. That's the one thing I feel like I also don't like how is missing from the show is that I like the fact that Hawkeye in the comic has slept with every woman and they all hate him.
Yeah.
So every other issue a different girl shows up who's like, you asshole, and then Kate's like, she's not wrong, and but Kate's kind of just the like reluctant, like, yeah, someone's got to take care of him because if I'm not here, he's definitely going to kill himself in like a day or two.
Yeah.
So that's the only part that I miss really from the run. But they adapted most everything else, which was cool. But like I miss that like relationship.
And just to add on what you said, because like I was reading it like pretty recently, and like Kate describes, I think it was either Kate or Black Widow describes Clint as just like a car that just won't stop crashing.
Yeah.
And it's like the funniest shit. And I think they changed it a lot in here in the show, but like there's that dynamic where like Clint's kind of the fuck up who just like keeps fucking up and making mistakes, and then but Kate Bishop is like the more like she's the better Hawkeye in this case because she's actually like she's not a mess.
She's also like a better Hawkeye in general that they keep showing. Like I remember in the comments where like they keep showing that Kate is like a better archer than Clint, and like she's actually able to do shit. Which is what I don't like that I was missing from the show is that like that kind of like you know what I mean, like they're introducing Kate in the story, whereas in the comics she was already established and it's more exploring more.
Exactly.
Which I get you can't do because if you're introducing someone that can't already,
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, this book is incredible. The artwork is I love David Aja, especially like when they take a lot of stuff from like flight manuals, like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like where it's like very flat colors and stuff like that, and the way he plays with panels and so especially like if you see here like in the and like on the slide like where they just take like where they explore time and stuff, especially like when he's shooting and she's like spelling out the word while like he's shooting this, so like like he's doing this really fast. I think it's really cool. And plus like Lucky the Pizza Dog's in this comic, and like Lucky has his own issue, and it's like with no dialogue and how he interprets the world. It's so good. But Alex, you've read it, right? Have you any thoughts on the Hawkeye fraction run?
I read up through I think number 20 of 22, so I didn't finish it, but I read most of it, and I do like firstly how the show incorporates. I don't know if this was before the Matt Fraction run or not, but it has like the same font style.
Yeah.
And stuff in like the credits. I thought that was a pretty cool nod to this comic, like the one that you're showing right now.
Yeah,
that's basically the logo for the show, which is pretty cool. I also like this has been throughout the MCU as well, but the show has touched on it a little bit, and I hope it touches on it more. Is Clint's feeling, I guess, inferior, and like. He's been on this team of gods and the Hulk and a bunch of superpowered beings, and he's just some guy with a bow when it comes down to it. And I think the musical scene was probably the biggest example of that so far in the show. But the comic touched on that quite a bit, at least for me, and I think seeing even a little bit of that was pretty cool. I hope they go into it more, like I said.
Yeah, for sure. And also the fact that like I know it's addressed in the comic, but the fact that like Clint's hard of hearing, he's not entirely he's not deaf. I don't know if he's deaf in the comics or if he's hard of hearing in the comics. I don't know if it's different or not. But the fact that they play that a lot more, they address that in here as well. I think is interesting and it's pretty cool. So. Yeah, Storm, you have not read it, so I recommend you read it. Get on that shit immediately. Like it's really good. But yeah, so we'll just go off of that and just like keep going. But yeah, we'll talk about each episode. So episode number 1, titled "Never Meet Your Heroes," and this is basically just the introduction of Kate Bishop into the MCU, which I thought was really cool. And okay, well, just to start off from like I'm going off of memory. I don't take notes. Y'all know I don't take notes. People who watch this. But the fact that this kind of plays off, it starts with like the battle in New York and of her as a child, where we see I think it's her mom, her dad is killed in the aftermath of the battle, and then she sees the shot we always see in the Avengers of Hawkeye jumping off the building and grappling into crashing into the window, and that gives her inspiration to not like be a hero, but like being like, I want to be like that guy for some reason. I mean, I don't know who wants to be like Hawkeye, but I mean, it's.
Homie almost killed himself, and she was like, "Yeah, I want to almost kill myself too."
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it's gonna be funny in like 10, 20 years when they go back to that scene so many times that we're going to get some superhero watching Kate Bishop be inspired by Hawkeye doing shit. Because they're going to go back. Yeah. They're going to go back to the battle in New York like so many times that at that point they're just like, oh yeah, we actually had Living Laser there, and he was actually inspired to do a crime because he tripped over a brick and hated Iron Man for not catching him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but like
I did like it this time though. I did like them going back and actually watching like Kate Bishop from like start to finish of the battle in New York when like she first hears the rumble and then all of a sudden her like apartment's destroyed. Yeah, it was cool. It
was really cool, and the fact that like seeing that shot like on another angle, they probably like do CG or like models to like reshift to get her perspective on it. That was really cool, and that's when Alex said about I'm talking about how like the aspects of the comic played into the show. We get that really awesome opening credit sequence of like her origin and her montage of her training. That was really cool. And it's kind of because from what I remember seeing, it was like she would say archery, fencing, gymnastics, and martial arts, which is really cool. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool opening scene.
I like the part where they recontextualize one of the scenes where Hawkeye just like does like the no scope shot, but it was actually him. He didn't realize that he was stopping one of the Chitauri from like going to kill Kate.
Really?
That's what they showed.
Oh shit! Okay.
One of the Chitauri's like going towards Kate, and then you see an arrow hit it, and then it cuts to like Avengers footage, and it was Hawkeye doing one of the no scope shots.
And I was like, not put that together. Okay,
maybe you should take notes.
Maybe I should take notes. I know. But yeah, that opening sequence of the montage of her training, and then we see her as an adult. I think she's like 22 years old in college, and where she wrecks the bell tower. Or that was. Mm-hmm. How do you not think that was gonna go wrong?
Oh, wasn't the bell tower named after? The bell tower was named after someone. I forget who it was, but it was. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah. But just the bell tower scene, that was interesting. But I'm really liking the fact that again, because like it's kind of the trade-off between the difference between like the comic and the show, but like Kate is more of the clumsier one and actually like has the skills but doesn't know how to apply them like properly. And we find that out later during like the auction and stuff like that. But yeah, then we get to get back with Clint. Being with his family, and I have a friend who's a Hawkeye fan for some reason, and she hates the fact that they take aspects from the Ultimate Universe because in the Ultimate Universe he has a family, and in the main universe he doesn't.
I found out who the bell tower is named after.
What? Who is it?
Obadiah Stane.
You're lying.
Yeah.
It's literally called the Stane Tower, and it says like, oh, blah, this cornerstone was placed in October 20th, 1725. It was reattributed on like July 1st, 2006 in honor of Obadiah Stane.
That is... So it needed to be destroyed, is what you're telling me. It needed to be destroyed.
Built it.
Yeah, I don't feel as bad now.
Yeah, I don't feel as bad.
Scraps.
He built the bell with a box of scraps.
That's what he did.
Okay, but... we meet Clint and his family. I think it's his daughter and his two sons watching Rogers the musical. What are your thoughts on Rogers the musical, guys? Because I thought it was
a funny gag.
It was funny, but it was also like very cringy because I'm not really.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it was also very cringy.
That's the point, though.
I think it was supposed to be though. That was
that's what I just said.
Sort of a satire of shitty musicals.
Well, it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be like showing. I think it's more of like an actual commentary on like how people in like how people make Thanos did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like how people are joking about making memes about Thanos, and Hawkeye like went through like so much trauma at the hands of that motherfucker that they're just sitting there just like he's sitting there watching a musical about like this horrible battle that lost like hundreds of lives in New York City, and he's just like. Okay, what the fuck? And he's like trying not to like have an emotional breakdown in front of his kids.
Yeah, especially for when he sees Nat, because like he literally watched Nat die.
Yeah. And he's just like sitting there like, oh,
like wow. What the fuck?
And I think that's why it's supposed to be cringy, because it's supposed to be like, oh wow, they're being really insensitive towards this like tragedy, even though there's they know they probably already knew there's like an Avengers sitting in the audience, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna sing.
Exactly. And just like to add on to that, I really appreciated the fact that like he also is trying to stay away from like being recognized as a hero, because I remember there's that little girl he sees in the play that waves at him, and he goes to the bathroom, and then the guy's like, hey, you want to like take a picture with me on the urinal, while looking at the urinal, and it says Thanos was right on it. Like I thought it was really cool. Just a really cool theme that they were exploring.
I also thought it was funny how they had that little joke of like Ant-Man wasn't there. Why
Yeah.
yeah,
they
don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Of all the heroes to get recognition, like Ant-Man is the one that gets recognition. And,
Well, it's funny now that he gets recognition after Endgame when he didn't.
yeah, exactly. So
you want to take a picture with Ant-Man?
yeah, but I thought the Riders of the Musical was really cool. I mean, I don't know, the costumes look really shitty too, but that's kind of the point. Like, if that's supposed to be like high-end costumes and whatnot. But yeah, but like after that, when we meet Kate Bishop coming back home with meeting her mom, and we get introduced to Jack Duquesne.
It's Jack Duquesne, but it's,
Yeah.
even though it's like he goes by Jack.
Yeah, he goes by Jack. She doesn't like Jack, obviously, because mom's boyfriend.
Who likes Jack Duquesne?
I mean, yeah,
honestly, who does like Jack?
Yeah, who like even the comics don't like Jack Duquesne.
Everyone's like, you're fucking what, bro?
Yeah. But
Spoiler, it doesn't really matter how you pronounce his name.
Are we gonna get a Black Knight fight with him?
Or no, that's Armand. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's Armand. But yeah, then they go to an auction, a charity auction, which ends up leading to a black market auction where they're selling off like what rich, like very black market rich people shit. I guess I don't know. Children, not children. But yeah, then it leads to Kate Bishop following Armand the Third.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jacques down to this auction, and we see that you see in this picture the Ronin suit and the Ronin sword are being sold off. Which I thought was really cool. And then the tracksuit mafia comes in, tries to rob the place, but looking for one item, which we'll talk about later on. It's like it's a watch, and she puts on the suit and basically like leaves, and it's really cool. What are your thoughts on like that auction scene, guys?
I did not expect the Ronin suit.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be the central figure of the plot. There's Caden. Ayo. But it was pretty interesting actually, because I had wanted this series to explore the fact that Hawkeye pretty much became a straight up murderer during the snap, and it hasn't really gotten there yet, but it did touch on Ronin, so it's not just ignoring that, which I liked. And I also like the fact that because this suit is here, that's the catalyst for the attack from the tracksuit mafia, and it's revealed like later on that he has a lot of enemies because of what he did when he was in that suit. So I think that's super interesting. A super interesting nod to his time on the dark side, even if they're not really exploring the character trauma of that, it seems, at least not yet.
Yeah.
But I do like that part.
I mean, I'm really digging the fact that like the consequences of sad boy hours is a theme in the show. I think it's so funny. Like, it's just like, but because I was waiting because I liked the fact that we got Ronin in Endgame, even though it was pretty brief. But I was hoping that in the show that they would explore it a lot more, especially the fact that you said that he made a ton of enemies during those like 5 years. So the fact that sad boy hours, sad boy years. But the fact that that's being explored, I think is great. And I was curious. I really thought it was interesting. That's how they're inevitably Kate and Clint are going to meet, is through the fact that she has this suit, and also the fact that I didn't mention, but that Jacques took the sword. And that hasn't been explored yet, I don't think, in terms of why he has the sword in the first place. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. And Hailee Steinfeld was really showing her action star chops. I thought she did a pretty good job with the choreography and whatnot. But yeah, Sarah. Well, watch the show, Sarah, then come back to this. But yeah, I think that we also she also saves Lucky the pizza dog. Well, he's not known as Lucky the pizza dog yet, but as the one-eyed dog that is from the Hawkeye comics as well.
Yeah, we can talk about No Way Home.
You want to talk about No Way Home?
Yeah, Sarah wants us to talk about No Way Home. I guess
Yeah.
we gotta talk about.
Yeah, we're not talking about No Way Home right now. Yeah. So after that bit, I honestly, I think I'm blanking because I don't like what happened after this. Like that's my mentality with the show. Like what happened after the auction and stuff. Oh yeah, well Armand the Third gets killed. That happened.
Yeah.
She saves the
and-
dog. She goes, I think, back to her place. Then goes to Armand,
Yeah.
and then the tracksuit mafia tracks her down in an alleyway.
Yeah. And then that's when Clint intervenes because he finds out about the Ronin suit on the news, and saves her life, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I thought this episode was a good starting point. I mean, there was a lot of themes addressed. I thought I thought were pretty addressed pretty well on in the second and third episode. I don't know if anyone has other thoughts on episode 1. It's good.
I did talk shit about Clint and his family being overdone, but I did like that scene when he sees it on the news. He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta go again. It's an interesting element, which I thought was an excuse to not have Linda Cardellini in the show, even though she is, which is great.
Yeah.
That it's just him and his kids, because that adds a lot. Maybe not a lot more, but like a little more interest to the idea that he has to leave and put himself in danger because he can't just trust mom to take them home.
Mm-hmm.
He has to like put that on, I guess, his daughter or his older son. So that was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, it humanized I think the family element really humanizes the character. Where you'd be like, damn, like, I wish you want him to come back home to his kids for Christmas, but, he has other shit to deal with first before doing that. But, yeah, that's a good point. Storm, you have anything else to say on this episode?
I like the fight scene with her in the auction. I liked the most because it showed that she, like you said earlier, that she has the skill, but, like, when she hangs from the pipe to go on to someone, if, like, say, Hawkeye or Black Widow would do that, they would have taken down the person within the first few seconds, but she keeps holding on to it, and then it eventually breaks and she falls down. So it's like she doesn't really know exactly how to do the things, which I like.
For sure.
Showing her inexperience through the choreography rather than telling us that she doesn't know what she's doing as much. Like she's pretty proficient, but she's like visibly not as good as other martial artists that we've seen, and that's awesome because it's not telling us, it's just showing us that like she hangs on a little too long. She's actually getting beat up, like in this still here, like in that whole scene, she's getting her ass kicked quite a few times, even though she's also doing the ass kicking because she's not as well versed as a lot of other characters we've seen who aren't going through training at the moment. They've already done it. So yeah, like Storm pointed out, I think there's a lot of little things in the choreography in fight scenes that she has that show her inexperience.
Yeah, for sure. Which I really appreciate that detail. But yeah, so before we move on, do you guys know how many times bro was said in this episode alone? Like, is there like a bro count?
I don't think because they weren't. I think there was only a couple. It was only like I'm gonna say it was in the single digits because they weren't on screen all that much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the next episode they say it more.
Next episode where it starts popping off.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the third episode is where it gets.
Yeah, but all right. So we'll just move on then to episode 2, titled "Hide and Seek," and now we actually get to see actual interaction between Kate and Clint now that they've met. But I thought for just to start off with this episode, it basically picks off where Clint saves Kate's life from the Tracksuit Mafia, and they're basically heading down to her apartment just to as like a safe place.
Don't they go to her aunt's apartment?
No, they go to her apartment first.
Yeah.
her apartment
And then the
burns down.
tracksuit mafia gets there.
Yeah, and burns down, and that's when we see them say "bro" so many fucking times. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
Caden just said how many
Yeah,
were said.
said episode 1 had 5. Episode 2 had 7. Okay.
Thank you for counting, Kate.
Thanks, Kaden. Yeah. I also the fact that like in the scene where once she's like changed out of the suit, I love the fact that she's like, man, even though like you just saved my life from like these weird ass mobsters and like my life could be in jeopardy, can you sign my bill, please? Because she's a huge Hawkeye fan. I thought it was again like shows how like her youthfulness, and I was like, yeah, like even though she's in a tough situation, she's meeting her hero for the first time and like wants an autograph like anyone else would. I think was great. Yeah, and then like obviously the tracksuit mafia come in and they have to end up leaving the Ronin suit there because there's just everything is on fire and they need to like get out. That was really cool. And then that's when Seamus, when you said like she goes to her aunt's apartment and that's where they try to like figure out what their next steps are. But yeah, what were your thoughts on what are you guys' thoughts on like those like I think like 20 minutes of like that episode of the first episode with that stuff? I think it was pretty cool. I liked it.
I liked it. It's all like pretty standard stuff so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing really too.
Yeah.
So it's like this is like how it is at the start of every Marvel show so far, except maybe Loki.
Yeah.
Every Marvel show kind of starts where you're like first couple episodes you're like, all right, yeah, we're not really into it yet. We're kind of just like, you know what I mean? We're just trying to like get into the actual stuff we're here to see. But yeah, no, it's fine.
Kane says episode 3 had 3 bros. Only 3
bros.
Damn. Okay. But I just want to add something just real quick. I love the fact that Clint's just like this girl is literally a child. Why why are you getting yourself into this mess? You should be doing other things like going to school and shit. Like he's playing the fact that like, oh my god, like do other things. Don't get involved in like my bullshit, please. I love that. Just like his attitude towards Kate is so great. Yeah, but what happened after that? God damn it! Oh wait, the suit ends up with the LARPing guy. The guy,
Yeah.
Like
After the apartment gets burned down, and they go to Ron's, and then he disguises himself as a firefighter, and then he goes back and
and then he finds the NYC LARPing.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he ends up going to social media like, yo, I got the Ronin suit, and like the tracksuit mafia doesn't find this and goes after him. Like is that kind of a plot hole that bothered me? Like I mean, but we're the tracksuit mafia is stupid.
They're canonically dumb as bricks. So
I thought that's what was going to happen, is that they were going to track him, like especially once we got to the LARPing scene. I thought the tracksuit mafia was going to show up there, and then Clint would have to try to fight them, but also not like put people in danger. But then that didn't happen. But that's okay. I actually thought that whole scene was going to be written as an excuse to put him in the ridiculous helmet, and then he never wears it.
Oh, okay, like the mask.
I think they're gonna do it anyway at the end. I think by the end of the series they're gonna fucking do it anyway. In case he's like, can you please wear it? And then he's just gonna be like, fucking fine.
Grudgingly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now just that we're on the LARPing scene. What are y'all thoughts on that? Like, I don't know. I've never seen like seen the LARPing like in person. So like I've only heard stories and stuff about it. I thought it was really fun. Again, just playing on that cheesiness with like the Roger the musical. Like it just looks ridiculous, and it's just like Clint's just like, why am I here? Like it's just to get a suit that I thought it was fun. What were your thoughts on that scene, guys?
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they made it actually look like cinematic.
Yeah.
Or something like so simple. They just made it so cinematic.
Mm-hmm. I like how it again cemented Clint as like the cynical asshole of the entire MCU. Of how he's just like, I hate it here. Get me the fuck out of here. I don't want to be here. And it's just like, because that's the thing I think I like the most about Hawkeye, but that's the thing they do the least with him. Is I wish in all the Avengers movies he was just like the guy who was like, really? We have to fight a robot that sounds like James Spader? You're fucking kidding me. You know what I mean? Like, if he did that every time, it was just like, I want to go home, dude. Like, I feel like that would have made his character at least, like, people would at least like it more than just like, oh, I'm cool. I'm still Hawkeye, but I kind of don't want to be Hawkeye. You know what I mean? Because then he seems like I don't know. I like the LARPing scene, though. It like really cements his character, and it's really nice.
Yeah, it's very wholesome, especially when he once like he gets the suit back and like the fight's over, he actually like takes the time to like be like, hey, you just call me Clint. Like
Yeah.
it makes it to be like I'm one of you. Like, you know, I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, he's like a human. Like he's not like
He's not a god.
my legal name is Thor. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
But I thought that scene was pretty cool, and it looked like Renner had so much fun doing it. I mean, it just seems like a lot of fun. But just to move on, because
They do have the behind the scenes picture of he was gonna wear the.
Oh, was he?
They have like I saw it on Twitter where they had the behind the scenes and they were gonna have him put that on as his LARPing outfit, but then they didn't.
Oh, come on.
Because I think they're gonna do it at the end.
They're saving it.
Yeah,
that would be so much. I think that would have been a better move. Just have it early on, just as like a fun nod.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that's just me. But just to move on, actually talk about my favorite scene that we get. So the dinner scene between that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's it. It looks good.
The dinner scene between with Jack, Miss Bishop, and Kate, because Kate is suspecting that Jack is up to something. Obviously, we know that he took the Ronin sword, and his uncle died, was killed via sword recently, and he is planning on inheriting his fortune because he's next in line. The fact that she tries to prove that he's up to something by trying to fence him, I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, like you're the champion here, like it's all good, you got me. But we clearly know that he has some skill, because she tries to stab him in the face, and he immediately parries and counters the attack. Mm-hmm. I thought it was, what are your thoughts on this? I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a fun scene. Mm-hmm. I thought like the fencing choreography was really cool.
Again, Kate Bishop's character is being illustrated through her action scenes, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell, I mean, it's the intent of the scene, but you can tell she's like trying against him while fencing, or at least like escalating up to having a real fencing duel, and he's just faking it. And I like how you can understand what she's going for without her like saying it out loud, or like having some kind of weird thought dialogue, like I have to get him to, like a comic would do.
Yeah, of course.
You can tell that she's trying to goad him into. Oh shit!
No, I got you.
You can tell she's trying to goad him into like exposing himself as the as someone who has skill in fencing, and when it doesn't work, she just fucking tries to stab him in the face. I think that's completely in character for what we've seen.
Exactly.
Even if it wouldn't be for someone else, like I don't know if Clint would try to do that, but I think from what we've seen of Kate Bishop, like if she can't do something, she gets frustrated, and then she tries to stabbing him in the face, or trying to, was like a last ditch effort to get him to expose himself, even if like she knew that would get her in trouble with her mom, but like now she knows Jack is not who he claims to be, so it worked, even if it was a bit rocky.
Yeah. What if she did stab him in the face?
What if he was wrong? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the show would just end. I just like roll credits. Like she just committed murder. We don't commit murder.
All of a sudden, like Punisher teleports behind her and is like, "Hey kid, let's go."
That would be so funny. Oh god. But and also I think when she realized like the butterscotch, obviously because the butterscotch she saw like in the murder scene last episode. I thought the scene was really cool.
I thought maybe it would be easier to, instead of being like it was butterscotch at the murder scene, maybe it would be like, oh, this adept swordsman probably stabbed and murdered his own father. You know what I mean? Like Armand was laying there with a stab wound in him, and then this guy is like such a good swordsman. You're like, oh, maybe the guy who's like almost has a sexual attraction to swords killed his father by like stabbing him. Instead of like, oh, there's butterscotch there, there's butterscotch in his hand.
The two must be connected somehow.
It's like, I think there's a bigger connection that you could have gotten.
You know what thing with the sword, the Ronin sword. You know how we got shown that it's like retractable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he have like a sheath?
Is it?
I
I'm not
think he
sure.
don't
did.
think so. Did he in Endgame? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I feel like he did. I'll look it up right now.
Thanks, Caden.
Yeah.
I know that. Point I was making. You should say that first.
All right, but
Why does she make the connection between butterscotch first?
Yeah, I'm saying, why did she make the butterscotch connection before the hey, he got stabbed connection?
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I do
but-
like that they got around to it though, because that's like the most glaring shit.
But all right, just to end off the episode, Clint ends up going to the tracksuit. He like how in the comic where he just like, you know what, here's a bag full of stuff, and I'm just gonna be like, hey guys, come kidnap me, and is gonna try to convince them that like it's not Kate, but then she ends up trying to save him anyway when he's trying his best to to lead them away from her away from her trail. I thought that was a really fun ending, just her just going through the fucking window. Sorry, the from the roof, because again she doesn't know what she's doing, and she's in over her head. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that ending of the episode?
I got really hyped when they showed Echo.
Oh yeah, also Echo shows up.
Yeah. No, Echo was really like, that's the only thing I cared about at the end when I was like, oh, yeah, we got her.
Yeah,
I didn't think she'd show up this early, but I'm glad she did.
I mean,
like I thought she would have been like maybe episode 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And also like just like the scene of the interrogation, I thought was just hilarious again, because we hear him say bro thanks to Kaden, we know it 7 times, and just the fact that like when she comes to the window, he's just like, oh no, that's Kate Bishop right there, bro, we found her. I thought it was so funny. It was very just dumb, just comedic humor. But yeah, no, Echo definitely showing up at the end. Like, what was it, like her like feeling the vibrations of like the speakers?
Yeah.
I thought it was just like very cool, and the lighting I thought was really dope.
Yeah,
but yeah, what? Oh yeah, he had a sheath. You found it out?
Yeah. He just like pulls it out like this, even though it's retractable.
Huh?
It's so weird.
That's interesting. But Alex or Storm, you have any thoughts on the ending of the episode?
I do like that Echo showed up now and not later, because this show is only going to be 6 episodes, like the other Marvel shows, and I think, WandaVision was 9, but that show I think suffered a lot from. It's this really good slow burn of a show, and then they run out of time, and they rush the ending. I think Loki was pretty good about that. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was also fell victim to that. I think it had a bit of a rushed ending with like John Walker coming back and all that. But I hope, and I'm glad that Echo showed up when she did instead of showing up later, because the beginning of episode 3 is all about her.
Yeah.
Instead of like throwing this in the middle of the series, this is still kind of the beginning of the show, like going into the middle of the show. So it's good to have who we presume to be the main villain show up like earlier, rather than just being another cog in the developing plots as we go on. Like something else thrown in. It's good to have her established in the 2nd episode, and not like the end of the 3rd or the beginning of the 4th.
And plus, like we know she's getting her own show, so like the fact that like she's getting introduced pretty early on, so that we can get to know her throughout the course of the show. So when her show comes out, we have like a base knowledge of the character. So yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, any other thoughts on before we move on to episode 3? None. Okay, dope. So episode 3, titled Echoes, clearly. And what Alex said, so it's basically for the beginning of the episode just focuses on Echo's origin, and obviously for people who don't know, Echo was introduced in Daredevil during Marvel Knights, in the David Mack run, which I have and I love. But I thought I really was since I know a bunch about the character, I was curious to see how what changes they were gonna make. And clearly one of the changes that they made is that she's not only deaf, but she's also an amputee because she has the prosthetic leg. That was new, and with this episode we get to know more about her uncle. Well, not her uncle, her father, and the fact that he had criminal ties. That's the same. That's consistent in the comics. And obviously we know the whole uncle. She had an uncle, which we'll also probably talk about in when we get to the theory section of who we think this person is. But I loved the fact that
theories.
Yeah. What?
We have to wait till theories.
Yes.
Damn it.
We've got Bill suspense here, Storm. That's how it works.
It's the next one.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, but I love the fact that her origin was kind of tied into Ronan. The fact that so it apparently is who's supposedly a guy is maybe Clint or someone who looks like Ronan during those 5 years in Endgame killed her father, obviously because he was part of the Tracksuit Mafia. That was really cool. What Seamus, do you have any thoughts because you know the character as well about that change?
Of the change, I thought it's cool. Like it just adds more to the character and it makes her more interesting because really all like you can't do the interesting stuff about Echo without having to introduce other aspects of the Marvel universe. Phoenix and stuff like that. You can't do that shit. You can't do Moon Knight yet because he's not introduced yet. So I think just giving her more stuff that really builds out and fleshes out her character will only make her series more interesting and more worth watching.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and also just to more elaborate more, because in the comics, the reason why I like the Ronan thing so much is because in the comics she was the first Ronan, Clint was second. So that's so I feel like incorporating this Ronan into her origin is important to the character.
It was supposed to be Daredevil, wasn't it?
As Ronan?
New Avengers, yeah.
Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it was because at the beginning of New Avengers, Daredevil doesn't join the team, and then all of a sudden this mysterious ninja Ronan is helping out the New Avengers, and then everyone guessed it was Daredevil.
And he was like, no.
And then Bendis was like, actually it's Echo in a man suit, and then it was Echo, and then even though it was clearly drawn as a guy, it was all of a sudden it was Echo all the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, I
remember that shit because I was so confused when that happened.
Yeah, because I remember he was there, but I thought it was just Echo, just straight up. I didn't think they knew I didn't think they figured it was him
first. It was
first.
Daredevil the first issue, and then they changed it. It was funny.
Yeah, but also just elaborating the origin. I love the fact that they realized because in the comics she's basically Taskmaster. That's what her she just can copy people's moves, and they established that in the show and when she's a kid that she had to learn to adapt just to I thought that was really cool. But the episode kind of starts up with the interrogation, and we also get introduced to the character Kazi, who was in the Hawkeye run as well. He looks completely different, and I told Seamus it was Kazi. I had no idea. But Kazi is basically in the comics he was an assassin that shows up in the Hawkeye run. In this, he kind of acts as Echo's best friend, and he's the only person that can actually sign and interpret what she's saying to the other Tracksuit Mafia guys because they're idiots. So that was really great. And they're just trying to get information, and I thought that was really cool seeing the fight, and fight breaks loose when Hawkeye escapes, when Clint escapes, and I love the fact that Clint could escape, but Kate Bishop is like, Clint, teach me how to escape, please, because I need to help you. When he's just kick, I thought it was so much fun. I don't know. So what were your thoughts on that warehouse escape fight? I thought it was really cool.
It was kind of one big fight with the chase scene too.
Yeah, the chase scene kind of adds on.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I did the first actual fight where Hawkeye was he was shooting people, and actually you were oh wow, okay, now they're actually the person who wrote and directed this knows how to actually use Hawkeye in an action scene instead of fucking Joss Whedon's dumbass going he's standing there shooting, and you're no, why would he stand still?
Yeah.
Anyway, I did I like this fight scene a lot. It was really cool.
Also, props to Alaqua Cox, who plays Echo, who plays Maya Lopez. Dude, I thought her choreography and stuff in that were great.
Good.
Especially how they were using.
I can't believe this is her first role.
Yeah,
she's so good.
And the fact that they incorporated the fact that she has the prosthetic leg because she used it to block a hit. and Mikey was like,
Yeah.
"Why did I not hurt
Yeah,
you?" I thought it was so
he
cool.
like punches it and she just lifts her knee up and he's like,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I thought she did a good job with that. Also, that one shot where he like flips over like
the slow-mo.
the slow mo and shoots.
Yeah, that was really good.
The free K. I thought that was so cool. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that scene in the fight in the escape in the warehouse? We'll move on to the chase after, but I want to get your thoughts on that.
It's very different to have the MCU action choreography be done not in like quick cut takes that you can't tell what's going on. I liked how I think when the fight starts and it's sort of just Echo fighting Hawkeye hand to hand, they had that one shot where it just follows the two of them and she's like trying to kick him and he dodges and she goes like low and he I don't remember if he jumps or whatever, like jumps backwards, but the camera follows him as he moves away from her. That's the same scene where where Echo blocks his strike with her prosthetic leg. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that part. It didn't really stay consistent throughout the scene, but there were other interesting like camera elements that they used, like when he shoots those three guys and he ends it with like behind his back, that shot.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, I don't know if there was a cut. Maybe there was one cut between him shooting those three people, which I thought was interesting. Like he shoots the one guy, then it cuts to him shooting the second guy, and then instead of cutting again for the third guy, it moves, and you can see the guy behind him, and then he shoots him in the hand, rather than just like Joss Whedon going arrow, and like you can't even see him really shooting sometimes. In this show, you see him take the shot, and then it even, if I'm remembering right, it like follows. You can't really see the arrow, but it does follow the motion of his shot, and then it hits somebody in the chest. And I don't know if he's just straight up killing people at that point, or what's happening, but either way, I do like how it shows them he's taking the shot, and then it follows the shot, and then it to its target.
Gotcha.
Rather than just showing one of those things.
Yeah. I feel like we should just shit on Joss Whedon for like 20 minutes.
I was just about to say Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how he doesn't know how to write?
Yeah.
He's borderline illiterate.
But just now I continue to like the chase scene, which I think is just to add on that like Maya knocks out the hearing aid, and that's what I was telling Seamus before we started. Like one of my favorite things about the rest of the episode is the fact like the communication issues between Kate and Clint, not just like while they're like in like the heat of like the moment when there's like, action going on, but like even after that when they're just like being casual. I love the because obviously like the chase is like one of the best parts of the comic. Is the car chase scene, and the fact that like Clint has his hearing knocked out, and they're trying to like get some trick arrows going, but like they're not really communicating because Clint can't hear. I thought it was great. So like she's just taking every arrow she can and just like using them half-assed, and like I'm trying to remember which one she used. It was like the putty arrow, a smoke arrow, a plunger arrow, like an arrow that shoots multiple cables. I thought the chase was really cool, like how like because we don't really see a lot of trick arrows being like crazy trick arrows being used throughout the course of like the MCU with Hawkeye. So I thought that was really fun. So like
I feel like even in the comics, trick arrows was more of like always a green
arrow thing. Yeah.
The green arrow was a trick arrow. He was like a fiend with trick arrows for them. Like Hawkeye uses them, but like they're never like he never has like fucking, you know what I mean? They're not as iconic.
He used the USB one in the Avengers, and that was like the only one I can remember him using.
Well, there's like I do remember in like one of I don't know if it was one of the comics, they do have like a entire like spreadsheet list thing that lists out every single one of his trick arrows, and they used almost all of them in this one like fights, like the chase scene. They used all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was
cool.
That was really cool.
Like the Pym arrow.
Cool. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That thing should have destroyed that bridge, and it didn't. It didn't do anything to that bridge. It just made a
Well,
giant hole.
you better that engineer needs to have like the biggest pay raise of all time.
Honestly,
The thing is, like, I thought that arrow originally. I thought because I know there's like arrow in the comics where it's a pin particle arrow has like a bunch of little arrows in it, and when you shoot it, it explodes and like it's like an arrow storm. That's what I thought it was at first. I was like, dude, that would be sick as fuck if we saw that.
Dude, he's about to kill numerous civilians.
Yeah. No, now thinking about it, yeah, no, it would have been more of a problem if that was the case. But yeah, I thought that like this scene of just like, and her just like, again, as a Hawkeye fan, just freaking out the fact that like he has so many fucking crazy ass arrows. That was really cool.
that should probably cause so much traffic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just the big,
just the big arrow in the middle of a bridge.
Yeah,
What you gotta do is cut it and then pave over it.
Yeah, I mean that's
There
true.
you go.
But
college road work.
You gotta pay me.
Yeah, but I also love the fact that like when she uses the USB arrow as like an intimidation tactic, and they're freaking out because they saw a fucking huge like arrow just come into a bridge. I thought it was so fun. And also like the part where they leap off the bridge to use the grapple arrow and use the plunger. I thought that was a really cool shot.
It was like they were doing the Avengers recreation with that shot.
Yeah,
like, I like this.
It was a cool nod. Yeah. Any other thoughts on like the chase and all that before we like move on to like the other stuff? Other stuff was very tame. It wasn't nothing really like not much happened after that. Yeah.
That was a long actions, like it was sort of 2 action scenes in one.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. The trick arrows where I think there was the purple putty one that she used.
Yeah.
She shot it at the windshield because she didn't know what it does.
Yeah.
And then Clint, because he doesn't really know what's going on, he's like, "You're supposed to shoot it at their wheels."
Yeah.
Like I thought that was. It's interesting that we didn't see that, like how that's like how it's supposed to be used, but it still worked, even though it didn't work like it's meant to. It still like clogged up their windshield or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Also, you talked about this, but like after he lost his hearing aid, like the miscommunication, the attempted communication.
It's so good.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like if she she held up 4 so he knew what was going on with, I think it was the amount of people chasing them or something, or maybe the amount of arrows they had left.
Yeah.
And I like the sound design, how it shifts from like what Kate's hearing to what he's hearing. Like it gets muffled sometimes.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool because that's probably one of my favorite parts of the Daredevil show is that it, with disabilities, with him being blind and having super hearing, sound design is really important. And it's the opposite with Clint of having very little hearing. It's muffled and it transitions from a normal action scene with like explosions and shouting, and then like the camera moves back to Clint and he's like, I don't know what's going on. And the sound dampens in the background when that happens. So I think that's a really cool choice.
Yeah, the sound design was pretty interesting in terms of how to show that discommunication. That was really great. Yeah, and also like when they're on the train, how she's like, I think we should like wash Luck. I think we should like wash the dog, make sure he has food. And then like a minute after, he's like, I think we should. He just repeats the same thing. That was so funny. Yeah. So I'm just after that crazy shit happened, it was just like, okay, they go to a place to get the hearing aid fixed. They go to a diner, and it just again to show like a lot of these stuff like from the comics. Like it's very it's like it's just him being like a simple human being. It's just great. Like it's kind of like a slice of life type thing. I don't really like. I'm trying to like. I don't even really should like talk about like what happened because like nothing really happened. Like it was just.
They go to Kate's apartment and it ends with Jack having the sword to Clint's throat. And
that's how it ends.
That's the only thing that actually like is important, but that's all going to be next.
The only thing I could like remember being like significant was the part where it's like Clint his son called him and she asked. Yeah,
I know it's not important, but I like.
I thought it was nice.
They edited it in, and it's a nice little touch to get them like closer together as characters, and her helping him
Mhm.
with the son, and her then finding out everything.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice, and the fact that like it's just again like you can't come home for Christmas, like it's just it kind of shows like his urgency of wanting to go back home for his kids, and I thought that was great. But also like again now she can connect with him on like a human level, like he has a family, and I think it's very nice. It was a very nice scene that I thought, and again to go with Alex, like the sound design of showing like that of the muffled hearing and all that stuff, and I thought it was really nice. I thought it was a really nice scene. But yeah, just like the ending, they just go to the apartment, and then Jack has a sword, which I remember because I remember we watched it together, and I was like, God damn it, I wanted more. I wanted to get a fight or something, but like
That's next.
but that's the next episode, I guess. Fuck.
I thought it was kind of funny how he's like standing around a corner in an archway, and he pulls the sword out, and if you look at it, all Clint really has to do, if I remember right, Clint would just take a step back because that sword is so long that Jack would be like, ah, shit, and he'd have to come around the corner.
I don't even think he's holding it in a way.
For that shit, you see him with the sword. He's so quick with the sword that if Clint even like slightly moved, he would just slit his throat and he'd be done.
Was he even holding it in a way against his throat? I thought he was just holding it straight.
No, it was against his throat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
Sean can watch the episode Exposed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's been bullshitting this entire time for like the past 55 minutes. But yeah,
I mean, I'm only here for one character, which you better hurry up and get to it, Mikey.
Yeah, word. So
you don't care about episode 3.
Lucky meets the dog.
Also, Lucky gets a name.
He gets Pizza Dog.
He gets Pizza Dog. That's also important.
But we've been calling him that, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We've already called him that.
But let's not really talk. I don't know. We're gonna move on to the theories and stuff. But yeah, episode 3, good stuff. But so we'll talk about theories. So the first theory, this is brief because like I don't know where this is gonna go at all.
It's the hood.
It's not gonna be the hood. It's not gonna be the hood. But I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think. What is this? Like what item 268 is? I think it's Stark Tech. It has to be Stark Tech. Everything is Stark Tech. Like
yeah, no, it's probably gonna.
I mean, but
it's probably gonna be like, it's like access codes to like some, you know what I mean, some Stark warehouse or some shit. You know what I mean? Like that's actually just like the thing that he puts in the scan that lets him get into like all this hidden Stark Tech somewhere, and it might actually just lead it. It might be less of like, oh, this is like super important to Hawkeye. And it might just be more of like, oh yeah, they're trying to get it in Hawkeye, but it actually you find out what it is in Armor Wars or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have since obviously I'm gonna say the next one since my theory can
you got
it. Since there's theories that Kingpin is taking Avengers Tower, what if he needs like the watch to like unlock some part of the tower?
The creepy sex dungeon.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dog.
Yeah, what if like he needs the watch to like open some part of the tower that can't be opened otherwise without like you said, like secret
opens
shit.
it up and it's the last Ultron century.
It could be.
That'd be hype.
I don't know.
I'd cry. James Spader coming back. Let's go.
I would, dude. That'd be great.
James Spader, Ultron was the weirdest character I've ever seen, but I loved it.
But I mean, there is something of this.
Watch is doing
because they only wanted the watch, so like it has to be something special about it. So I mean, it could be a link to Avengers Tower. That could be possible. I don't know.
What if they're also just saying like, oh, we need the watch instead of like, so they didn't seem suspicious with the suit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It could be either. I don't know. But I
mean, it could be a fake out.
It could be a fake out.
Yeah, but, like they're kind of fixated on the suit after that point. The watch doesn't.
That's true. That's true. But any other thoughts on this? I don't really have that much to say about it. I just it's important somewhat. It's probably connected to Tony Stark. I don't know. But
I mean, at this point, literally everything is.
Yeah, that's it's kind of a given.
Even Electro is getting arc reactor.
Arc reactor. It looks like so.
The watch is Kang the Conqueror in disguise.
Yeah, it's a deviant.
It's Kang's timeshare.
Yeah,
we're getting Iron Lad.
Yo,
Young Avengers. Right. But
Kate Bishop too. We already it's coming together.
you're getting too excited for
These
this.
years, man.
But yeah, so we'll just move on to the next one. Obviously, with Jacques. I mean, in the character, obviously we know Jacques is Swordsman.
He's shit.
I don't.
He's such a shit.
I don't know much about
He's in
Swordsman.
the Lethal Legion.
Well,
I didn't even know that.
I discovered
We're
today.
getting the limiting laser.
like,
I didn't even know this guy was a character until my friend had to tell me. I thought he was just
Yeah.
some one-off person.
Yeah,
Because-
Some random side
because
character.
all I know from like the comics, I think he's connected to Clint. Didn't he train Clint?
Yeah, he trained Clint.
Yeah, he trained Clint in sword fighting. So like that's why Clint is a very good swords master.
He's like shitty Ra's al Ghul to shitty Batman. You know what I mean? Like that's what Hawkeye and Swordsman are.
I think.
Oh, I
think
have
if we
a.
go with
I don't know if.
Sorry.
No, you go. You go.
I think if they go with that he trained Clint, that would be a pretty good way of connecting him and Kate's stories together, especially with this character, because the only reason Clint would give a shit about this guy is because he wants to protect Kate rather than for his own reasons plus that. So if it turns out that he's like the guy who trained him or something, they haven't interacted besides the 1 second of the last episode. So it could be anything. But if he knows this guy or like this guy trained him, that would be a pretty interesting motivation to want to take him down.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it if like the next episode, like we get the scene where like he has him by his phone and he's like, wait a minute, you, and like he'd be like, hey, we gotta get the hell out of here because he knows that this dude is bad news and that like confirming that she was right. I would love that if they knew each other. That'd be a pretty cool angle to go off of. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know like. But like other than that, like I don't know his motives because like he wanted the sword for some reason. Now he has the sword. I mean, maybe he could just
Because
like,
he likes collecting swords. That's why. That's literally the
Okay.
only reason. Is he's like, oh, it's a retractable sword. Fuck yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I have a. I don't know if you guys said it or if I read it somewhere, but something about like him possibly being Ronin before Hawkeye.
Yeah, he could be. I don't know. I
don't know if I heard that from you guys or if I read
That's
it.
another
somewhere.
thing. That's another problem I think the MCU is run into more and more, where it's gonna be like, how would we would have heard about that? I feel like, you know what I mean?
True.
If we had like a dude who was like borderline the Punisher, but on a worldwide scale, I kind of feel like we would have heard about that before Clint did it. You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that the Eternals problem had, where they're like, yeah, why didn't you stop Thanos? And they're like, you know what I mean? They try to explain it away, and you're like, it's not working.
Yeah, but I don't really.
I hope he gets his outfit. His goofy
You want
ass-
the fucking fin?
Yes, give me the fucking fin. Because then it'd be so funny is if at the end of this, serious ass Hawkeye is in his like comic outfit and he's fighting this dude in this comic outfit.
That'd be
And
fucking
it's
hilarious.
just like, what the fuck am I doing? I have to be home to my family in time for Christmas, and I'm fighting this crazy asshole for no reason, and I'm in this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be the perfect ending to the show, is him fighting like Swordsman and they're both in the goofy ass comic accurate outfit.
Honestly, I want that now.
That's what I'm saying. It's so good.
That'd
The
be
perfect
great.
ending for the show would be him saying that out loud. Like, what the fuck? This
Yeah.
Him sitting there like, God damn it, why do I get roped into this shit?
it just
Hold on.
ends right there.
But yeah, I mean, Swordsman. I mean, hopefully he looks like Swordsman at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Give him
know.
the fin.
I mean,
Come on.
and then clearly he did kill his dad. I mean, he killed his uncle dad.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I guess that plot's gonna be wrapped up like towards the end.
That's gonna be wrapped up next episode when he just probably says, I killed my dad. Yeah, what about it? That's it.
All right, are we on to the good one
Yeah,
now?
no, we're on it. We're on
Chill
the
out.
thing.
Relax.
Relax. Jesus Christ.
Relax.
But yeah,
Get out the animals.
obviously the main thing that everyone's talking about is that, you know, Kingpin being the uncle character. I would love this, obviously, because I'm again big Daryl fan, but like I don't want to get my hopes up because Marvel might be breaking my heart too many times.
It's
so
not. It's not. 'Cause
That's why I
I already
appreciate
told
that.
you about the because like the rumors of No Way Home.
yeah, of
And it
course.
like coincides with the end of Hawkeye, so it would be cool if both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They both showed up.
I mean,
And if you notice in the flashbacks, that auto repair shop or the tracksuit.
It's called
company
Fat
place-
Man.
Yeah, it's called Fat Man
Yeah.
Auto Repair. So you're kind of like, oh, so they're doing the same thing they're doing with the Spider-Man at the end of No Way Home, where you're like, They're not really saying it, but they're definitely saying it.
But the thing is, like with me, it's just like of all the things for Kingpin to be like affiliated with the tracksuit mafia. Like,
I think
come on.
I think they are the lowest of the lowest of the low. There's like 40 different like. I think that's what they're gonna do. Is they're like
he has a
like
network
40
of
different
syndicates and stuff.
or that he's only affiliated with the tracksuit mafia because he's like super good friends with like the guy who raised Echo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the guy who raised Echo is like, look at this, I got my own crew, and Kingpin's just there like they're all dumb, dude.
Yeah.
I got my own crew, and Kingpin's like, fine, we're friends. I'll help you out. Like you do shit for me.
And I mean, it works out because, like, again, in the comics, Echo was raised by Kingpin after, like, he killed her father in the comic. So that's probably going to be a thing at the end where she's like, oh, he's a bad guy because he killed my dad.
Well, that's what they're probably going to do. Is Kingpin was like saw the chance that it was like, oh, Ronan's killing all these guys, and then I can kind of off these like annoying, useless tracksuit mafia dudes, and then you know what I mean? Because they'd be like, oh, they got. Shut up, kid.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna
Shut
put that shit up. No, that's
no. Shut up.
No.
No.
But
that's his worst gag.
Yeah,
that's his worst gag. I hate it.
But there's also a thing that I saw that like maybe because Clint doesn't really like maybe Clint didn't actually kill her father. Maybe Kingpin sent. Oh, that's what. Yeah.
That's what I said. When it's like he used Ronan instead as like a. Oh, here's an easy way to frame someone else.
Exactly.
Like, would make sense.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But listen, man, if we get Vincent D'Onofrio to come back, I mean.
Why wouldn't they?
Why? The man wants to do it. He's
said it on Twitter every day, literally like praying to the lords that they're like. He's just sitting there on Twitter going like, "Please cast me, please cast me, please, please."
Well, I mean, obviously, clearly already did because we can hear this man laugh when he touches his girl's cheek.
It's his fucking laugh. They're not gonna all of a sudden cast someone else and be like, "Yeah, no, it's actually the ghost of Michael Clark Duncan."
Dude, I would literally die if at the end we get the reveal and we just hear like when I was a boy speech.
Like, I hope.
I would die. I would literally
it's
die.
Actually The Rock as it's The Rock doing his best Vincent D'Onofrio.
But here's the thing, right? Like, I would love this, obviously, as a fan of the character, and with Echo, it would make a lot more. It would make a lot of sense. But like, I'm gonna be prepared if it's not him.
They're doing it because then they already said so. Because then he's definitely showing up in the Echo show. Everyone and their mother has been saying like, oh, he shows up in that. Yeah. So I think they're gonna at least show him at the end of this as just like. It's going to be like as long as that first cameo he had in this episode where he's honestly just going to show up for like 2 seconds and then it's going to be like, hey, watch Echo for the rest of the shit. And you're going to be like, oh, I guess I got to watch Echo now.
Yeah.
You know, and the rumors of No Way Home, you know what I mean? That just lines up too well that they wouldn't do that like basically the same week.
Yeah. I was going to say that because you mentioned it earlier, like the Daredevil, Charlie Cox stuff for No Way Home plus this. And it being at the same time.
It's too much of a coincidence.
It's brand synergy to the max, but also Ralph Boner. So I don't know what's going on.
That was there. There's I don't think there's any way in hell they'd ever do that type of joke again because with how like angry people got. How people were just like this is like utterly terrible, and now they're just like, okay, so we're not going to do that joke ever again. Because I feel like people would just be because there's no way they do that with Kingpin. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get doing that with Quicksilver because Quicksilver's a fucking joke.
There'd be heads on pipes if that shit happened.
Yeah.
But especially because of like so many. I mean, that little scene with him like pinching her cheek or whatever he's doing. Yeah. Somebody makes a sound.
Yeah.
And that sounds a lot like fucking
Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It couldn't not be.
Yeah. But we'll see. That's my attitude towards it. We'll see.
It would be extremely disappointing if it wasn't somehow because it sounds just like him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
He is her uncle.
They got to get this lady to stop right.
And like Seamus said, he literally all the time on Twitter says that he wants to go back and
he says all the time. So we'll see.
Did you hear the rumor that if Kingpin is back that he might be in a fat suit?
I don't want that.
I heard that.
I don't either.
Yeah,
Vincent D'Onofrio already looks intimidating enough.
He's already pretty big.
Well, the thing is that you just kind of like make him like you just kind of not give him super strength, but like, you know what I mean? Just have him like be that, look like that, and just like make him just hit hard. Like in the Spider-Man game, he looks like Vincent D'Onofrio, and he's got the same build as Vincent D'Onofrio, but he's able to like punch through walls. And I'm like, just do that. That's all you have to do. You don't have to put him in like. You don't have to Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
him,
people
like,
just want Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse worked because it was animated. But like it doesn't work when you actually I gotta look that up. The second teaser.
Spider-Verse always makes me think
Spider-Verse
that these are. My bad.
Sorry.
No.
I was just making a joke. If you were making a point.
So was I.
Okay.
2 jokes right in there.
I was gonna say that he looks like a reverse bobblehead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He's got the giant body and the tiny head.
Yeah,
that's true.
Hey yo.
But
this is Spider-Verse 2 teaser.
But just to close off, okay, if we get Kingpin, great. If we don't, it's fine. But like Kingpin, Echo, Daredevil season 4, I'm down. Okay. But okay, so just
Spider-Verse 2.
Spider-Verse 2.
The teaser's coming out.
But listen to like the last point because I completely forgot this was happening.
I had
the
to
fact
remind you.
That Yelena's gonna show up in
Oh right.
Yeah. You see, even you forgot.
I'm scared of her.
You're scared of her?
I'm scared of her.
Why?
She's gonna fuck up Clint.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
And then she's gonna fuck up Hailee Steinfeld too, and then I'm gonna be sitting here like,
dude, if Clint doesn't get a bullet to the dome, I'm gonna be disappointed. But yeah, if he should get a bullet to the dome, bro. It'd be funny as fuck. But like, what's up? But like, yeah, this is basically just more Thunderbolts set up.
Why is Madam Hydra gonna be like the Thunderbolts person now?
I mean, it seems like she is.
I don't like that. I wanted Wong to be the Thunderbolts person. Combination and Shang-Chi.
Yeah, but because obviously, if people that don't know, at the end of Black Widow, like Val gave her the info. They're like, oh yeah, like Hawkeye killed your sister, even though that's not the case. Obviously, we know that. But yeah, I mean, I expect like a really cool fight, and then being like them just like resolving it real quick, and then just like
every superhero crossover,
exactly,
where they fight for a minute, and then like, wait a minute.
But yeah, but like this is the image on the right. This got released recently.
This was in the teaser for the 4th episode, I think.
Okay, yeah, and people were just saying, oh, like it's like the costume that Yelena had in the comics, where it was more like a Spec Ops Splinter Cell look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rip to Sam Fisher. But
never coming back.
But yeah, what Alex or Storm? What are your thoughts on Yelena coming back for that for a brief appearance?
I completely forgot about it. I knew she was going to be in the show at some point, and then that slipped out of my mind. And now that you show this image and you're like, oh, by the way, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. And I don't know, because there's a lot of plot lines going on that are not connected yet. We're only 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
But also there's only 6 episodes. So like I said, if Jack was Hawkeye's sword trainer, that would be great because it means there's a bridge between him and Kate. And with Yelena showing up, I don't know how that's. I hope that she's connected. Like, I hope she has an affiliation to something we've already seen. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like it was thrown in as because it was in Black Widow.
Well, so the reason there was an after credit scene in the first place was because the Hawkeye writers like begged for them to actually put that in as a setup for Hawkeye. So it was like the Hawkeye writers have planned for this from before Black Widow was even being made. They were like, oh no, we want Yelena to show up in it. So
okay, well, even if it's planned in advance. Sorry, Storm.
No, go.
Even if it's like been planned in advance, I think like watching the show in the order of its own progression, having her show up could feel like it's being thrown in, even if it's like,
I don't know. I feel like it's a necessary step to Clint getting over the fact that, you know what I mean? Like that, it's connecting to the Rogers musical, which you hate so much. That like he still like feels like, you know what I mean? He still feels guilty and like, and I think like this is an important step to like
get
closure, getting him closure for his character so he can like actually retire fully instead of feeling like he needs to come back.
I would definitely love to see it. I just don't know how they're going to cram her in without feeling like cramming her in. Like I want it to happen organically and fluidly so that it doesn't break the rest of the so there's not just another plot thread
Yeah.
that we have to follow, because right now there's a lot of dangling plot threads that aren't connected yet.
All right. Storm, you were saying
The only thing I can think of that they could do to naturally put her in is maybe since Hawkeye and Kate have escaped, they enlist her as from like Echo or Kingpin, and she's gonna go after them, and that's a way that she could probably be put in.
that could be a possible way to do it.
That'd
Honestly,
be cool.
I'm not really sure how they're gonna do it, but I expect a scene of like your sister was my best friend, so like I didn't do anything, like just to get that closure so she
May
can
or
move
may not
on.
have had sex at a point.
I mean, yeah, that too. And like
times.
and like have that scene so that like they can move on the fact of like of Natasha's like death. That would make a lot more sense to me. But yeah, I mean, if she shows up, cool. And I really Yelena Belova was my favorite, was my favorite character in Black Widow. I thought Florence Pugh did a great job. So like I'm just excited to see more of her again. But yeah, any other thoughts on this before we just give our final thoughts and head out? Nah? Okay. Yeah, so just like final thoughts, I'll just say mine. So far this show has been better than I thought it was going to be. It was, I'm liking like the arcs that they're setting up. I'm liking the introduction of Echo. Obviously Kate, because Kate's great. Young Avengers, we need that shit. And I'm excited to see where this is gonna go moving forward. Obviously with like the Kingpin hype and all that stuff, if it actually pays off or not. Relax. Yeah, we'll see, because we only have like 3 more episodes left, and yeah, again with what Alex says, a lot of there are some dangling plot threads that like need to be addressed by the end of the series. We'll see what happens. And if I also do think that like Jeremy Renner is gonna be done after this, and we'll have Kate just be the new Hawkeye
Thank
now.
God.
So that's what I hope to happen. No, don't disrespect to Jeremy Renner, but like I mean, I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done. I mean, he's an asshole, but like I'm kind of done with Hawkeye and want Kate Bishop to like move forward as the character now, because she's great. So yeah, I don't know. What are your final thoughts on?
Yeah, Kingpin hype, Kate Bishop hype, Swordsman Finn hype specifically. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like the show is like, it's less of like, oh cool, a Hawkeye show, and more like, oh, this is like kind of required to like, it's like a required stepping stone of like it needs to happen to set up stuff that's more exciting later. Like you need it so you can set up Kingpin. You need it so you can set up Kate Bishop. So I like it so far. I like it for what it is, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's mostly going to be mentioned as like, oh yeah, and the Hawkeye show is introduced, and this is where it becomes important.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good so far. I like it. It's fine.
Storm, what are your final thoughts?
I got Seamus said everything.
Everything. All right, Alex, you got anything?
Just what I said. And what you said, I said about dangling plot threads. I just hope the show doesn't weigh itself down too much with too much stuff, because I do like where they're taking it right now. It's relatively simplistic, and I like that. I don't think it has to connect too hard to the rest of the MCU. I don't want it to try to do that. I think just having, like, Kate Bishop is clearly the future of Hawkeye, and I think they should focus on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means they're going to kill Clint or retire Clint for real, whatever, but just keep it in the lens that it's focusing on right now. Don't go too far outside of that. I hope the show will not.
For sure. All right, so that's it then. We'll just end it off. So thanks for the people that are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. We're gonna come back for part 2 when like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's like after like end of December.
Yeah, but thanks Alex, Storm, Seamus for joining me. Good stuff, good conversation, and we'll probably catch you all on next time. All right, peace.